Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for watching. As the title implies, we're going to be talking tonight about Vivek Ramaswamy and what he said at the end of the Republican debate yesterday. And just generally, he said a lot of things, but we're going to focus on January 6th. And he said it's a setup, which is something, I personally believe, when I first saw it unravel, I didn't realize that, but, based on the news reports, but over time, as I've seen stuff, I've come to that conclusion, just like he has, and a lot of other people have. So we're going to debate that. I think we have some opposition here who disagree, so that should be interesting. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my team here.
And then worked through it. And I just talked to my wife recently. I was like, I don't think our relationship's going anywhere at this point. We've reached this plateau where it's just like there's no upsets. It's all out. It's like you said, it's all out in the open, and it's like what the other person's thinking and all that. That all the bullshit's been dealt with or whatever.
Right. Can laugh at each other, and for example, I tested positive for COVID today, but I feel fine for the most part. But I've been feeling a little under the weather, and a few days ago, I said to my wife, it's been good being under the weather because you haven't been bitching at me to get everything done around here. You've been going easy on me. She said,
everybody.
yeah, you're right. So then she laughed, it's like.
Count your days.
Can you guys hear me?
Bro. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
we are
you're
live
good.
right now.
Cool.
I'm going to share a video here real quick. 1 second.
You probably got 2 days, and then you're going to have to do all the pruning and raking. So enjoy that, Steve.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, this should be working. Sorry, everybody. I'm getting it right now. I think it's going to work now. Okay.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Our fans are waiting.
There we go. So now everybody can see. I'm going to make it the main. You guys can join. If you join my stream in Discord, you can see the video so we can watch it all together. This is going to be what the debate is basically based on, this and the interview he did afterwards, which I'd like to play just because he kind of outlined some of the things I want to talk about in this debate or discussion, whatever it's going to be. So yeah, I'll go ahead and play that. Everybody ready?
Yes.
No, I'm good to go.
Wait, can anybody hear it?
No.
Me neither. What is going on? Hold on. Speaker. Yeah, it should be working. Why isn't it working? Okay, hold on 1 second. I have another option here. Rather than that, let's just do this. All right, this should work.
Colleagues on this debate stage is all three of them have been licking Donald Trump's boots for years for money and endorsements. Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor, but you would have never been one without actually begging Donald Trump for that endorsement.
And you attacked him in your book a year ago.
Same thing with Chris Christie as a lobbyist, begging them for COVID money for his special interests in New Jersey, prepping him for the debates last time around. These people are now Monday morning quarterbacking some decision he made. I think the real enemy is not Donald Trump. It's not even Joe Biden. It is the deep state that at least Donald Trump attempted to take on. And if you want somebody who's going to speak truth to power, then vote for somebody who's going to speak the truth to you. Why am I the only person on the stage, at least, who can say that January 6th now does look like it was an inside job? That the government lied to us for 20 years about Saudi Arabia's involvement in 9/11. That the Great Replacement theory is not some grand right-wing conspiracy theory, but a basic statement of the Democratic Party's platform.
Have sound on
that the 2020 election was indeed stolen by big tech. that the 2016 election, the one that Trump won for sure, was also one that was stolen from him by the national security establishment that actually put up the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that they knew was false. There's a reason why I'm the only person on the stage who can say these things. That's what it's going to take, not people who are licking his boots one time and now Monday morning quarterbacking him and criticizing him when it's convenient.
Governor Christie.
I said good day, sir.
I said good day, sir. Yeah, so there was that, okay? So then afterwards, he did an interview with Dana Bash. Is she on News Nation? I thought she was CNN. Maybe. Okay, anyway. Oh, no, it was CNN. Okay, here we go.
January 6th.
Sure.
There is no evidence that it is an inside job. It was a fringe conspiracy theory that the Trump-appointed FBI director, Christopher Wray, has said explicitly over and over is just not true.
So let me... Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to address it.
Look at it.
I was an anti-woke crusader leaving the business world, and if you had asked me 3 years ago, is there some chance January 6th is an inside job, I would have said that was crazy talk. I would say, looking at the facts of the video footage that have come out, Dana, it is shocking that you still haven't gotten a clear answer of how many federal agents were in the field that day. Look at now the video footage of actually throwing explosives and rubber bullets into what was a peaceful crowd, then releasing to the public what came in response to that. But now look at the video footage that was released, and I'm glad we're talking about it because viewers deserve to look at that footage. Capitol Police literally letting people in who were then now prosecuted, some of whom have gone on to commit suicide because of what the government's doing. That is a case of entrapment, and I think the government has not been transparent about this, which is why I then brought up another case where the government, now 20 years later, with declassified documents, told us that they lied to us at the time. And so I do think we have a government that's consistently lied to its people.
But an inside job suggests that everybody was who attacked the Capitol was part of that.
I didn't say that, but I was saying that there is there's entrapment going on. There's entrapment going on, and this looks like a case of entrapment. And if you look at even over the last day...
What do you mean by entrapment?
Entrapment means that the police goaded people to do something otherwise than they otherwise wouldn't have done, and then they arrest them for actually doing it.
And you don't think it was actually the former president who was trying to get people?
I think that was the media narrative. Now look at actually a hard case.
We heard him with our own ears. I'm going to ask you about a case
and see what you think about this, right? You guys said this for a long time about the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot. Suddenly gone silent after it comes out at trial that absolutely that was a case of entrapment, which is why 2 of those people were acquitted. So I'm saying this as somebody who, on the other side of this, as a biotech CEO, somebody who was even anti-woke, but if I was looking at this, I would have said a lot of this is crazy talk. But if you actually get into the details, I think it is startling how much the government has systematically lied. And I think it's both parties over the course of the last 25 years.
But on the
left used to be better at pointing this out and being skeptical of the government, but now it's the right.
Which is the most aggressive, offensive attack on the U.S. Capitol and on democracy itself that we have seen in our lifetime and in many, many lifetimes. Many lifetimes? Evidence that it was an inside job.
I'm not saying it without evidence. I think that what we're seeing now is the video footage that's come out. I was in a different place before a lot of that evidence came out, but you have to respond to the evidence. What is your response, or what is anybody else on CNN's response to the video footage that was released of Capitol Police literally just peacefully allowing people into the Capitol?
What we know
or
is
shooting
that
into peaceful crowds.
850 people have been convicted of crimes.
But the reality is many of them were convicted before that information was released.
And do you think that former President Trump has anything to do with this?
Because you're bringing up a really good point, and your audience and everybody deserves to know the truth about this. Normally, there's a rule in constitutional law. It's called the Brady Rule. You have to turn over exculpatory evidence to the other side. In this case, it wasn't turned over because the DOJ said Congress was sitting on.
Oh,
looks like somebody just walked over your grave.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but like, did you see her long swallows there? She had these like really deep swallows a couple times. Like, I'm just gonna repeat. Like, I know RW, he watched this and he said something like, basically they were just both saying narratives, which is true to some extent. But like, what Ramaswamy is saying here is not something that gets talked about at all in the mainstream, right?
I'm not used to hearing the fact or the challenge that it was an inside job spoken of on mainstream media. So
right, at all, right.
I don't know.
So what I'll say is I'm working on a video about this, so I hate to but yeah, like, so much of what she said was just crap. Like, her response to what he's saying about, you know, we got one side of the story here, which was purposely pushed by both the media and the Capitol Police you know, of this very one-sided. They make it look like the entire group was like super violent when it was really like a pretty small group of people. I want on the high end, I think it was like around 300, 350, something like that actually got charged with like violence. Although if you watch, it's not even that many that are actually involved in any sort of like violence. It's a very small amount. Anyway, most of the people that got charged and convicted, it's like trespassing and things like that, which is crap anyway, because we can go into it at some point here. But you know, the left, the Democrats rioted there for 5 years because they couldn't handle losing an election. And most of those riots were incited by the media and Democrats, and it was based on lies, because the police shootings that they got all those riled up with, that was like the pretext, right? It was really just to cause chaos during the Trump years. And those were legitimate police shootings, but the media made it look like it was like these racist white cops who were emboldened by Trump were hunting down black men, you know, and you know, this whole January 6th thing is no different. I mean, anyway, I'm rambling, but
has it been stated before that there was rubber bullets and crowd control stuff thrown into the crowd to incite the crowd, or you know, like to push them, or what's it called?
Do you guys want to see it?
I haven't seen that video yet, so I wouldn't mind.
Okay, yeah. The crowd is peaceful, and they literally just start like pepper spraying people and like grenading them. Stun grenades. 1 second.
But wasn't Vivek saying it in a way that they did that on purpose to somehow make them want to go into the White House and do stuff? Like, I feel like that was the vibe he was pushing.
Well, he was saying that. So obviously he didn't have enough time to get into it all, because I could like fill in all the holes what he's talking about. I mean, I've talked about it a million times, but basically that entire thing was allowed to happen. So Trump told people to go march peacefully, and you can say whatever you want about you got to fight for your or for your country and all that. Democrats talk like that all the time. Okay, so that's, you can't, if you're gonna hold him that standard, we got a real problem if he goes to prison for that. And so he told people to march peacefully. 120,000 people went there that day. Like the vast majority of them, that's exactly what they did. And then you had a small group, 300, who rioted, and then you had another like 1,000 people or close to it who like walked around, went in. And Vivek was talking about, you know, the police let them in. It's true. We have video of it, and video that the media, they love to say that like Tucker Carlson and these people cherry pick video, but like the truth is like they cherry picked video. That's the truth, right? And you know, that's all he's saying is that the government knew what they did, but purposely put forward a false story. I mean, remember the whole, you know, multiple police were killed. That to this day they're still saying that crap, and it's a total lie, you know. And so yeah, his whole thing is like, one, it was entrapment, and two, they're supposed to provide like all the evidence in these cases, and they didn't. This footage, the shaman guy, didn't he get like a stay of sentence or something happened because of that footage coming out showing the police like escorting him around?
Yes, that's that. Well, he didn't get out because of that. He got out because of the Brady rule that you were talking about.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
yeah. They didn't provide everything. Here, I'm going to show this video of the stun grenade thing. So I'm going to play that. That'll get me demonetized, but that's okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Well, here we go. That guy just had a camera and they sprayed him.
Yeah, you can see going on behind him. The fences are repaired. So it's kind of hard to tell where all this fits in the timeline. That first one, though, I agree. They weren't doing anything at all.
Right, and there's other there's not just that. I've seen some other video that's from further back where you can really see how like nothing. I'll see if I can find that, but you can see nothing was happening, and then they just start blasting these people. And like just remember back when they were attacking the White House in June of 2020. They injured like 60 Secret Service agents, all that. The next day, the National Guard used tear gas, remember, to clear the crowd. And the media, Democrats got together, made up that whole lie about that he cleared it for that whole photo op and all that. But it turned out after an IG investigation that was not true. But you remember the big deal they made about that. And yet this happens, and they actually helped to cover it up.
The one cop that shot the grenade launcher or whatever you'd call those things, he was a heavier set cop. He didn't seem too fussed about what he was doing. He shot it off, and he looked on his face, was like, he's like judging his how effective his efforts were.
Right. Here, check this one out. Listen to what this guy says, this Capitol officer.
We're going to have to get a reason. What have we got that we can help and push them? Munitions-wise. Nothing's going to help. The wind is at us. Yeah. I know. We're fucked. Right. The wind's at us. So that we can hit them with a lot of pain appliance when you're hitting innocent people. And not only that, we're taking out one and 10 of them are getting angrier. We're multiplying them by hitting them. We're going to have
Duh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to find that.
This guy in the face, and he got angry at us. I don't get it. I don't understand. What do we do? Punch more in the face. Okay.
That does speak to they're not working to purposefully incite the crowd. They noticed what they were doing and said, we got to stop doing that.
It's got a point there.
Anyway, there's a ton of footage of that kind of stuff. Then there's the footage of them getting what was the other footage we were going to look at? The footage of them being let in?
I've seen a lot
peaceful
of that.
tours.
Well, I mean, we've all seen that stuff, but yeah, I mean, it seems to me it's pretty clear that so you have all that, right? And then you have Ray Epps, of course, okay? And they want to dismiss that like it's nothing, which is just weird. Right? And like the Ann Coulter interview that I talked about the other day. That's so weird. Like when she talked about the fact that Ray Epps was telling people to enter the Capitol the night before, she rolled her eyes like that was no big deal. That's so weird to me. And like now we know he was actually telling people to storm the Capitol, those words. Right? Isn't that odd? That's exactly the words that the media and everybody used after that. So like, and he's on video doing it. So like, and people have said to me, that's not what happened, because there's no way this one guy just going out there and saying that was able to get all that, you know? And it's like, no, but that's the thing. It was a small group of people that actually rioted. You know, it was a pretty small group. So he didn't have to do that much, really. I know that looks like a bunch of people, but it's not really. Especially with the standard of mostly peaceful, which I know that standard only works one way, just like them all the standards, but I'm just saying.
Does it ever what do you think about the fact that we've been talking about this for so long now, and we're almost at the next one, the possibility of the next January 6th event?
Right. I mean, what's funny is that if Trump wins, they've already set up like all the justification the left and Democrats will need to do whatever, man. Like, who knows what they'll do, but it'll be treated like completely different. Which it's just like you feel powerless to do anything about that. All you can do is just try to open people's eyes up to what they're doing and just hope that, you know, they see through it, the propaganda efforts that will follow. But we know that, you know, a good chunk of the country will go along with it. I mean, they're trying right now, like all we hear about is how dangerous to democracy like Republicans are, and like our mass media who are supposed to be this check on power are just, you know, propagating that message. And now they're trying to imprison the main opponent ahead of the election. And, you know, they're talking about getting the FBI tracking like Trump supporter Twitter posts, social media posts. And you know, I have no. You hear about these people getting ridiculous sentences for memes, and it's always like right-leaning memes. I don't know if any like left-leaning memers have been sentenced. It just doesn't look good, and I feel like we're clearly on this path, you know. And it's just crazy that like the people who are most like Dana Bash here, oh, it was the greatest attack in our lifetime or many lifetimes on our democracy. Like just that whole like line, just from these people.
I don't know who did that. I was thinking in my head, you know, if this were to happen again, I'm thinking, oh man, if they just had really good video footage from all their phones of this happening, and I'm like, wait, the last time on January 6th, there was tons of video on the internet, and they can still push a narrative that shows only cherry-picked video to push a line of narrative, and it's like there is all of that out there if we just go and look for it. I mean, where you draw the line where something's conspiracy and bullshit and something's true, I mean, so be it. But
that's why they want to get rid of X
think that
so
there's
badly.
enough information that shows ill acting on the government's part easily.
Well, not just that. So then we have the Capitol Police chief, the guy, you know, in charge of it all, the Capitol Police, and he thinks it was a setup. Because he's been interviewed on this, but he said that there was all these warning signs and they knew something was coming and literally like just purposely did nothing about it. And I pointed out to people that, you know, during Trump's inauguration there was a mass Democrat riot and these dudes were like dressed in like ISIS, full black like masked uniforms and shit, like way more menacing, right? But they blocked off the Capitol so they couldn't get in there. Same thing when the Bush people are riding, same thing. But they let them in for this. And they purposely just did not. And then, you know, then we know they instigated it and then let people in and then called it the greatest attack since the Civil War.
What do you think Vivek's effort to push the narrative of it being an inside job based on the videos released by whatever his name was? Do you think that will now make a change? Because there's a ton. We're not the only ones talking about it. I'm confident in that. Do you think that it's going to actually make a difference one way or another, or they're just going to bury it with more bullshit?
Yeah, they'll just bury it. I mean, I hope there's a change. We need some sort of major Overton window shift. I mean, it seems like there is a bit. I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy just, you know, at a national televised debate brought up replacement theory, so that seems like a pretty big Overton window shift. So maybe there's hope.
I got some pushback that I've been writing down here a little bit on the 9/11 or the 1/6 thing.
Okay,
Freudian.
Cool.
So first,
yeah, that was Freudian. Ooh.
Yeah, no, sorry. What percentage of the crowd do you think were federal agents or people working with the feds or helping trying to incite the riot? Let's say not the whole crowd. Let's say the approximate 2,000 people that were involved in trespassing, picketing on illegal grounds, rioting, destruction of property, the whole shebang from top to bottom. What percent were feds, do you think?
I don't know. We have no idea because nobody will say anything about it in the government, but who knows? It would be a complete shot in the dark. The Capitol Police Chief thinks quite a bit. Let me find what he said.
Well, can I ask a question to your question, even though you're trying to make a point with the answer?
Yeah.
What percentage of a crowd would it have to be to make a difference?
Well, with the Gretchen Whitmer thing, it was about 50% of the people involved in the kidnapping plan were federal officers. So I'd say that's probably too many, and for all those people to get off of that is probably justified based on the limited knowledge I have of that. So I would say that's more than enough. But if we're talking like 3 to 5% of the crowd were people trying to incite a riot, I don't think that wipes away the actions of the people that actually were there supporting Trump rioting. I don't think there's enough there. They could have incited them, they could have provoked them, but those people's actions are on them. It's like a child's predator sting. When you have like a police officer role-playing as a child, you're not technically entrapping somebody that's going and trying to do something they were going to do anyway by pretending to be their next victim. So if these people were like just coaxing them on when they were going to do it anyway, that wouldn't technically be entrapment. It would more just be, you know, like a successful sting operation.
Well, I would say that I would say that the fact they withheld footage purposely and only released footage that conform to their propagandized version of events shows some intent to deceive, and that intent to do that, I think, would probably point to that they knew they were doing wrong.
That's kind of the job. That's kind of a failure of Speaker McCarthy in a way. So when that January 6th commission got put out, Speaker McCarthy demanded a certain people to be on it, and one of them was Jim Jordan. The commission itself said they would not allow anyone on it that, I don't remember what it was, either worked with Trump on January.
That was involved in the insurrection.
Yeah, in any way, shape, or form. So Jim Jordan was one of the people they were saying no to. And instead of just, putting someone else there, Republicans said, fine, we're not going to put anybody on. They let Democrats run that hearing from the top to bottom. And really, that's like if you had Republicans in there using their narrative the exact same way, you wouldn't have noticed a difference between that January 6th hearing and any other. But since it was all...
There were Republicans on that committee.
Yeah, but they were...
Just not the Republicans that they liked.
Yeah, they weren't on the Republican side, though. Like, if they had actual people on Trump's side on the committee...
Those Republicans you're talking about actively lied and deceived the American public.
I've been silent this whole time. Let me get my 2 cents.
Right, man.
I didn't even know you were there.
Okay. So, first of all, to my point, there were Republicans on that committee. Just because they're Republicans that MAGA don't like doesn't matter.
The left doesn't like them either.
They weren't on, shut the fuck up. Let me get my 2 cents in. When you say that that those Republicans were not on Republican side, that doesn't mean anything to me, because they weren't on a side. They were on the side of trying to get the truth. And that's very rare. That's very rare for a fucking Republican.
No.
So,
they actively spread lies.
Second of all, my next point is that I totally agree with you that January 6th was an inside job because Trump was the president. January 6th, the riot portion was it was supposed to have been a reason for him to be able to call in the military, to be able to take over the count. Once they had ushered the vice president into a motorcade where he was never going to be seen again, and then they would be able to blame that on Democrats and pull out the Insurrection Act, call the military,
like a conspiracy
and
theory.
throw the whole thing over. Dude, you're throwing up a conspiracy theory that it was an inside job. This is my conspiracy about why it was an inside job. Because Donald Trump was the president. He
address
was
anything
the inside
that we
job.
brought up? Can you
Yes,
address
I'm
any of the
addressing
points?
everything. I'm addressing everything.
You've
dude.
addressed nothing.
I'm addressing everything. So,
Okay,
like I said, Donald Trump was the sitting president at the time.
Who said march peacefully?
It was an
right?
inside job because Donald Trump designed the whole thing to go along with the fake elector scheme, which was concocted by Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, which is all laid out in Peter Navarro's book on how they broke the law and how exactly they planned to steal the election. And the riot portion was part of that. The riot portion was part of that. And even it really screwed them over that Pence didn't get into the motorcade that was supposed to kill him when he did, because that was supposed to be their whole reason for calling in the military and setting the whole thing out.
Sure.
So yeah, there's your inside job for January 6th.
And then Donald Trump took over the limo. He punched out the driver, took over the limo. Remember that? That was part of the J6 committee. Remember that?
He just said so many inaccurate things. The alternate elector theory was not thought up by Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon wasn't even in contact with Donald Trump at the time. They had a falling out publicly. The alternate elector theory was used in an election in the 1960s. It was also tried in Arizona in 1994, long before Donald Trump.
Okay, wait a minute. So you said they had a falling out publicly, but what about their shit privately? Because Trump did go on to give Steve Bannon a pardon, which I'm sure Steve Bannon paid for, because we all know that people were paying for their pardons when Donald Trump was leaving office.
That doesn't negate what I said. The point is, they had a falling out. They weren't working together. You said publicly. You said publicly, but he still pardoned that motherfucker.
So publicly, it doesn't really matter what they were pretending to do. Privately, he was still inside the inner circle. He was still inside the inner circle along with the crackhead pillow guy.
You just filibustered for 10 minutes. Could you let me talk a whole sentence before cutting me off? You said something factually inaccurate. The alternate elector theory has been around for about 60 to 70 years. When it was tried by the Supreme Court in Arizona, the Supreme Court of the United States voted 5-4 against it because it was a Democrat Supreme Court. It was very reasonable for the Trump administration to think, with a 6-3 court in their favor, that they could have won a legal argument with the alternate elector theory. It's not so.
Okay, and my rebuttal. My rebuttal. You keep doing Republicans a favor by calling it the alternate elector theory. It wasn't an alternate elector theory. It was a fake elector theory.
Okay,
they said themselves they were fake electors.
Okay,
it had nothing to do with alternate electors. Alternate electors is legal, like they're not.
It's not actually. Not when they go against what the state's votes. If the elector goes against what the state voted for, that's not legal.
Yes, that's called an unfaithful elector. It's a completely
no, it's
illegal.
not, because
yes,
the people who cooked up the scheme in Hollywood. No, there's I don't know for a fact because I'm not like a legal scholar, but there is an interview with Michael Moore on MSNBC, who's one of the guys. Him and some lawyers cooked up the scheme in 2016 when they were trying to get the electors to change their votes, and part of it was that they would pay their legal fees afterwards.
Okay, but Dronetek, listen to what you said. In 2016, they were trying to get electors to change their votes. In 2020, Trump secretly had fake people who were not electors sign off that they were electors in like the fucking basements of fucking courthouses, so that they would be able to fucking go and say, "Oh yeah, I'm an elector." That is a fake elector scheme. That is illegal. That is not an alternate. That is not an alternate elector, and that is not a unfaithful elector. Those people were not electors.
This is the legal theory that they used. It was challenged in the Supreme Court, Arizona 2015. That was the legal theory that they use. It's older than Peter Navarro and Donald Trump's presidency. I don't know what else to tell you.
Here, hold on, I'm looking on the law on this too.
Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, but the problem was that they called them fake electors. That's the reason why none of this shit worked.
It's different because it's been spun differently by the state media.
When did they call them fake electors? Was it in a private phone call one time and you're smearing them?
How would I be smearing them if it was in a private phone call? Even one time.
Phone call. But they didn't say that publicly. That wasn't their official statement. Then no,
actually, in Peter Navarro's book about the fake electors, he calls them fake electors.
Okay, so here we go. A majority of states.
When he went on fucking TV to say of all the fake electors, he said fake electors.
Real quick, he said it was not illegal to do that, to do faithless electors, because he's trying to rationalize it in his head as different when his side does it, as usual. And I'm just here to tell you that in a majority of states, have laws on the books that require electors to pledge to cast their votes for the party's nominee for president and vice president. Or wait, that's something different, isn't it? Oh wait, no, that's right. That says nominees, but I guess it just means, voting for the guy who's running.
I see nothing here quoting Peter Navarro saying fake electors from his book or anything. I'm Googling it.
Yeah, he's just repeating the.
He said he can quote him though.
Oh no, I saw Peter Navarro on the fucking news bragging about his book, in which it says that they were fucking talking about them as fake electors. They also had they had brought up during the hearing, I believe, the January 6th hearing, that they had been calling them fake electors.
I see nowhere quoting them.
Are you aware of all the lies?
Which I know Dronetek doesn't believe anything in the January 6th hearing.
I didn't say anything, but I'm suspect of it. Yeah, there's no cross-examination.
Hearings about Hillary Clinton, which was completely told like up front that we're doing these hearings on Hillary Clinton so that we can hurt her chances of becoming president.
I'm still looking.
What do you think's going on right now, Dave? What do you think's going on right now? That's real though, right? It's real when it's happening.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What I think is going on right now? You mean where Donald Trump was like found guilty by a judge that he did incite the January 6th riot? But
that's bullshit.
Even though
I don't care. That's unconstitutional and it's a lie.
Shut up and let me finish.
That never
Shut
happened.
up and let me finish. But even though he was found guilty and participating in an insurrection, they still said that he was allowed to be on the ballot. So where exactly is the two-tiered justice system there?
Would you just
there was no insurrection for one, so that's just purely political narrative. And two, he didn't incite anything. 120,000 people marched peacefully. Why didn't they riot, dude? If he incited them. I just showed. It was stun grenades. It was stun grenades.
When he told the Proud Boys to stand by and stand.
That was days before. That was like way before. That was like weeks before.
Yeah, that was days before, man.
Right. What did the Proud Boys do? They didn't do shit.
Yeah, they did. They were one of the organizations that were hiding weapons outside the Capitol.
Hiding weapons. This is another. No, I'm sorry. That first of all, that was never proven. There was never any weapons stashes found. Or
I'm sorry, dude.
Second,
I heard all the police radio chatter that was brought into the hearing, where police was saying, "Yeah, they have weapons. What do we do with them?"
Right. People are legally allowed to have weapons. First of all, right?
Not in Washington D.C. They're not.
Right. That's why they weren't in Washington D.C. Correct? They were They kept them somewhere else.
No, the police chatter was in Washington D.C. Yes, it was the Capitol Police saying these people have weapons.
No,
what do we do with them?
No, if I remember correctly, and I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure they were out of D.C. and that's why supposedly
Virginia.
So first of all, they have no proof whatsoever. There was two people who were loosely associated with the group who said that they were collecting guns from people before they went into D.C.
Literally, just loosely associated with the group. They had
two guys. No, listen. You didn't listen to what I just said.
Is.
You didn't listen to what I just said. Two guys loosely who didn't really know them very well. This is the testimony. What you're talking about hinged on. Okay.
They just got coffee.
Listen to what I'm telling you. Do you know what they said? Do you even know what they said? They said that those guys were collecting weapons from members that were going to D.C. So they wouldn't take them into D.C. Yep. So anyway, no weapons came to D.C. It was flagpoles and shit, and a couple people had their sidearms that they legally had, which, like you said, they weren't supposed to have them there. But it's not. They weren't used. The only person who shot was an unarmed Trump supporter. Yeah.
Still doesn't negate the police chatter where they were saying these people have weapons. What do we do? And the reports.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What weapons?
The reports around Trump was saying that Trump was saying, "Well, they're not here to hurt me. Let them through with the weapons."
I don't even know what that means. I don't know the context. You love just spouting lines that you've heard a lot.
He does have some truth to that one. There were, I want to say, over 100 people arrested with weapons. Some of them being deadly weapons.
Is that like a fork with 3 prongs instead of 4?
I'll let you come to the.
I don't. Deadly weapons. When people, every time I hear people list off, it's like flagpoles and knives and
pipe
stuff
bombs,
dildos.
Pipe bombs. Who had pipe bombs?
They found pipe bombs.
Right, they did find pipe bombs, didn't they?
Capitol.
Yeah. Do you know anything about that? Do you find anything about it weird?
No, I don't find anything weird that they found pipe bombs around a right-wing fucking protest. No, I don't. Where they were trying to overthrow the Capitol. No, I don't find that weird.
Bro, I can show you videos of sustained riots in Portland where they were throwing bombs at federal buildings.
Wait, just real quick. Did the pipe bombs have caps on both ends, or was it hollow pipe?
I don't fucking know, dude. You
don't know anything about it because they don't talk about it because... I don't know. You need to ask more questions, Dank. Especially about this.
I blame Lowe's.
So Dank doesn't. Okay, so you've never addressed any of the points that Vivek brought up or me.
I was going to get to that. I have some questions still.
Yeah. Okay, so go for it. It's all you.
All right, so we were talking about what percentage of the crowd were feds, because I was going to push back against the entrapment claim if there were feds there, I could even grant you 10% of the crowd. I still think that what they did, even if they did provoke to a degree, even if they did yell, go into the Capitol, the actions of the people that did the storming are their own. The onus is on them. It looks like about 400 to 500 people have been arrested for destruction of property or things like that out of 2,000, most of which were just trespassing and picketing on grounds that they didn't have permission for. So all those people, I just want to take them out of the equation and focus on the 400 or so that did bad things. Even again, if 100 of them were fed, 300 people still went in and rioted, broke several laws. A lot of them did some pretty bad shit. Some of them stole things. There was poop smeared at one point. All those people, even if they were provoked, are guilty.
All right, but we were told for 5 years that property crime is no big deal by these same people who now say it's worse than the Civil War.
You're grouping a lot of Democrats together. I am more interested probably than you are getting progressive socialists that don't believe in property rights out of the party. They're ruining the left wing for me and sane people.
Well, and also the mostly peaceful standard. I don't know. It just, once again, it's just, there's a whole glomming of things. There's the kind of exaggeration of what happened. I'm not downplaying. When I saw it happen live, I'm like, great, they're going to use this for years against us. So, when I was watching it. But, and then years later, I see the actual footage. I find out about Ray Epps. I find out about the Capitol Police officer. And it just looks like, yeah, I agree with you. The people, the 400 or whatever it was that got violent, they deserve whatever happens to them. But, like, the book being thrown at everybody who was, like, in the vicinity, being hunted down by the FBI, it being used as propaganda against the one party's opposition for forever, and that's wrong. None of that's right. Or blaming Trump. I don't think Trump is to blame.
That's completely right, dude. If you try to overthrow the government, yeah, that's going to be used as propaganda.
Nobody was overthrowing any government
for the rest of your fucking life.
All right. So when Joe Biden said that we don't need our AR-15s because we could never fight the government with our AR-15s because they have nukes and F-16s, but you're trying to tell me right now that 300 people with flagpoles were going to somehow take over the government. How does that work?
I thought they did.
That was their fucking plan, dude.
That was their plan. Yeah. Maybe they had a plan to take over the whole universe. Like what?
So
who had that plan? Whose plan was that?
A lot of them stupidly thought that the Capitol Police were going to turn around, let them in the building, and go fucking assassinate.
They did let them in the building. They did let them in the building.
After they were told to stand the fuck down because they were being beaten with flagpoles.
Oh, flagpoles. They went. I don't understand what, like, for years police were getting beaten with all kinds of stuff, bombs thrown at them. Like years we went through that, and we were told
they don't start shooting at fucking MAGA people, but they immediately start shooting at any left wing protesters.
No left wing protesters got shot. Trump supporter did though.
Well, it is police tactic when you're chasing somebody, let's say through a busy neighborhood, and a car chase is going too fast. They'll pull you off of that chase. For public safety reasons, for the life of the police reasons, they will tell you to stop pursuing and go find the person later. We have their address, their license plate, etc. So it is kind of police tactic. If the police are going to endanger themselves by doing their job, they will step back until some sort of backup gets there. That backup didn't come for like an hour.
Well, there was no need for it. Like, people weren't violent after that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's a lot of the reason why.
There was no need for it. People were just beating them with.
They walked around and then left. They literally walked around and left.
In a sense, could you say maybe the police not resisting them anymore could have maybe cut down on the violence?
The police are, look, that video I showed you heavily implies that the police probably are the ones that got started in those two videos. One where it was peaceful.
Those videos that you showed us was fucking bullshit. There's no timeline. There's like no fucking.
You can see there's no violence. I'll get more. Oh yeah, so the police officer saying that they were pissing off the crowd.
It's like a GoPro camera on like one person.
No, it was like a dozen videos, but it was like a dozen videos put into one. But the officer said, he's like, we're pissing off. He's like, most of them are peaceful, but we're pissing them off by hitting them with stun grenades.
But yeah, we watched police like beat like a 7 or 8 foot tall old guy with fucking police batons during a goddamn thing to them.
What?
I don't know.
I didn't catch that. You cut out. Sorry, man.
Can I just say though that like the leftists doing this are hurting the Democratic Party way more than you think. And a lot of like, you can see it in fast time. If you look at the support for Black Lives Matter versus the opposition, at one point, like 73% of the United States was in support of Black Lives Matter. And now it's like 43%. It dropped. Even a good chunk of Democrats are against them because of the actions that they take.
And that's fine. But look, there's no accountability. And like, you have people like Dank here who no doubt supported them. I don't know. Maybe you didn't. Did you?
It's hard.
But there's no accountability. The people, no, look, the people who did that for years are now like, you're an insurrection. You hate police and all this shit. It's like, I can't take that. Like, I'm not going to. Like, these people in 1 year injured 60,000 police with their riots based on bullshit.
It was a lot, and it was a lot more damage. I mean, I support the message. They do have some points to it.
I agree with the message too. The police, like, I am on board with like the police have become a problem. I am on board with that 100%. You'll never, like, that's what's funny is like, Dank, I don't know if you realize that, but that's definitely my position. Like, I'm so tired of seeing police who don't know so it's a bunch of dumbasses who don't know the laws, don't know the Constitution, don't know case law, current case law or past or any. And then they go out there and they do dumb shit. And then they have, multiple tiers above them of idiots who also don't know anything. It's a problem for sure. There needs to be way more training. Police need to be like almost lawyers, I think.
They do actually skirt the law. They know better. My buddy got busted driving 5 pounds out of Florida into Georgia. And they took his phone and they were trying to wave it in front of his face so he could open it with his face. And he kept like sticking his tongue out and shit so they couldn't do it. They'll purposely bend the law to their favor, and as long as they think nobody's watching, they're scumbag.
Oh yeah, dude, I watched this video today. I love like audit videos and those things, but I was watching a video today about. Maybe we can get back on topic. Maybe we'll change topic, but it was take other guests. Dronetek, take other guests. Oh wait, do we have people here trying to get in? 1 second, let me see.
No, he's saying that he doesn't like Brandon, so he wants you to take other people.
Whatever.
I think it's just me and Brandon here.
Brandon's part of the family.
So I saw this video that was like 10 years old. It's been a while, but it was multiple news reports and then some independent auditors going around to police stations, just going inside and asking for complaint forms. And then recording what happened, and it's wild. Like cops threatening people, like to make like if they're trying to make complaint, and then demanding their ID, and then when they say they're not going to give it, they're like, "Oh well, maybe we'll arrest you for denying identification," and they try to make something of it. And Fox News and ABC and a few others, this is from like 2010 or something, sent their own people in. Same thing happened. Isn't that wild? Now I think you're not going to see as much of that these days, because of all the activism in that direction, but it's still, I mean, these auditors still, every day there's new videos of auditors getting, like with these police who have no idea what the law is. Real quick, I want to say one. I watched a deposition about a guy who he had a sign that said "fuck the police" or something on the road, and somebody called and complained, so the police came and literally came up and just like knocked his sign out of his hand, and then demanded his ID. When he denied it, they were like, "You're under arrest," and he fell to the ground when they said that, and they said that he attacked the officer by doing that. And so like eventually the charge got dropped, but he sued the police, and the police arresting officers and the police expert all had to testify. None of them had any clue about anything, like having to do with the Constitution, First Amendment, case law. Like the police expert was saying how like, oh yeah, case law should be whatever case law is the law, and yet couldn't explain like reasonable suspicion of this guy, what he did that broke the law, or any of these things. Like it's just wild to me that these experts don't even know these things.
Well, going back to the point, you're fine. You're good, because I watch all that shit. I just want to go back to where Brandon cut me off there. We were talking about the January 6th here. The Democrats really controlled that. They let only 2 Republicans on, Kissinger and Cheney, because they agree with the message. Republicans did have the chance to put their people in. And I watch a lot of hearings, especially I'm really caught up on the Hunter Biden stuff right now. Democrats are on the back foot because they're not calling the hearing, but they at least have a chance to get almost half the people in there and deliver their message. Republicans really dropped the ball by just storming out of there, taking their ball and going home because
Big
it
surprise.
made January. Yeah, I mean, so I would really blame McCarthy for the January 6 hearings being as big of a shit show for Republicans as they were. They had
yeah.
the chance.
Yeah, it's right. Fine, and you're right about that. I don't deny that at all. But like, the media has not played their part as an objective arbiter, and they've taken a side, and that's a problem. Like for democracy or whatever you want to call it. Because what you're going to see happen is what's happening. It's just like one side can't get a fair shake at all.
What I was told is that's the reason why Fox News exists in the first place, is because in the 70s it was really leaning hard Democrat, and so people wanted an alternative source of news, and that's where Fox was incepted. I think we have enough fragmented news right now that if you want to get a well-balanced media diet, you could watch 3 or 4 shows and kind of get all the perspectives pretty easily.
Hey, Tyler, you made a statement paraphrasing earlier that you believe the January 6th narrative from the left is harming them. Is that correct?
Not particularly that. Well, sort of, yes. Because when they do things like that, they turn people's hypersensitivity on to these things. So when Mayor Eric Adams, there was a big fuck up in the New York primary, and Mayor Eric Adams challenged it. People were calling him Donald Trump. They were saying don't question elections, et cetera, going after him. Turns out he was right, and he actually won that primary. And because he complained, they went back and recounted and figured out there was a big error in counting the vote. So, yeah, it turns on their hypersensitivity. When if they notice their own side doing it, then they're going to turn on their own side as well because they've been woken up to that specific thing.
So you pull a lot of polling statistics. Is there any polling you can pull that shows a shift since January 6th away from the left party that would be able to relate it towards that or the coverage of it?
No, because
you know what I'm asking?
Leader of the party, and it really works to make Trump look bad. What I can say is where you see the shift is like Republicans that Trump did not endorse had about a 5-point bump in voter versus Republicans Trump did endorse. In Georgia, it was like 8%. Herschel Walker lost or tied and then lost his vote, where Kemp crushed Abram by like 8 points. So the fact that a Trump endorsee versus someone that Trump doesn't like and openly talks about that he doesn't like had such a huge split in Republican turnout kind of shows me that it kind of worked to turn off some Republicans to Trump. So until he's no longer the leader of the party, I think this tactic's going to work. As soon as they shift, if it's Nikki Haley for whatever reason that gets the nomination, all that Trump stuff goes completely out the window.
I mean, I believe you. I feel like the importance of information can turn off in a day. And my last relation to that experience was when we were dealing with the Ukraine war constantly in the news, and Hamas happened.
He's no longer
all
a leader.
All of a sudden, it's like they just switched out.
Work as soon as they shift. If it's Nikki Haley for whatever reason that gets the nomination, all that Trump stuff goes completely out the window. Hey, that's me.
Welcome to the party, Achilles.
I believe you. I feel like.
Hey, that's you.
And turn off in a day.
You also want to set up your phone so that it's push to talk, because all we're hearing is yourself.
This is like your.
It comes down to a simple point. Are you going to be one who sits back? One who
Achilles, dude, you gotta turn on push to
and
talk.
Says, enough is enough. You don't stop, and this is only going to get worse for you.
So that it's push to talk, because
and the main problem is we have become very docile in our. Are you going to be the one who sits back?
All right, I muted him. Sorry, I had to. I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I'll message him and get a response, and then we'll try again.
So there's 4 other things Vivek brought up we just haven't gotten to yet, but it was the government lied about Saudi Arabia doing 9/11. 2020 was stolen by big tech. You're not going to hear much complaints about that one from me. I believe that one.
Yeah, 100%.
2016 Russian collusion stole 2 years of Trump's presidency. Kind of agree there as well. The real enemy is the deep state, and Trump attempted to take him. So that one, the Trump and the deep state, and the government lied about Saudi Arabia. I'll take those two on when you get to them. But
yeah, let's talk about. What do you think, Dank? Do you think that the 2016 election? Do you think that there was an attempt to overturn the results, or was there? Do you think there was an operation launched against Trump, or as disgraced FBI agent Peter Strzok said, an insurance policy? Oh, and surprise!
No, dude. Years before Trump even ran for president, there was a guy that was writing a book or a story or something on him. He was hanging out with Trump's sons, and both of them told them they get all their money from Russia. So, I mean, I really don't give a damn about anything else with the Russia collusion bullshit. He was paid off by Russia to launder money for years from Russian oligarchs. That much has been proven, and Robert Reich even said when he was the Treasury Secretary under Reagan that if it wasn't for Russia, Trump would have been like he would have been like sued for fraud or something like that.
Well, Robert Reich is right. Robert Reich's
exactly what it was.
Robert Reich's a total hack, first of all, but it was proven, you say, that he laundered money for Russian oligarchs? Was that in the Mueller report?
There's enough evidence. There's enough evidence there that he's been.
Wait, he said there was no evidence. The Mueller report, there was no evidence.
No, he was talking about.
Yeah, I don't really care about the Mueller report, dude.
Yeah, he's talking about prior to Trump becoming president.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's proven, then where's the charges? I'm not saying it's not true. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Like I said, Robert Reich said that if it wasn't for Russia saving his ass, he would have been brought up on fraud charges for his taxes.
Okay, well, Robert Reich is a raving moron, and he's an idiot. And
yeah, well, I mean, anybody that disagrees with you, you'd say the raving moron.
That's not true. I don't really care. You disagree with me, and I don't think you're a raving moron.
I've seen Robert Reich be right on a lot of things.
He's wrong about a lot of things. And he contradicts himself all the time, which constantly gets pointed out. He's just a hack, dude. Fuck Robert Reich. An old one at that.
From the 80s, there's allegations that Trump worked with Russian gangsters and sold them tens of $1 million worth of condos and shit. It was decades before he ran for president, but everything he's saying about that is.
Are you saying he likes Russia more than America, and he would screw America over for Russia?
No, it's been pretty proven that Hillary Clinton's campaign cooked up the Trump-Russia thing.
Right. Yeah, they did. Do you know about that, Dank? About the fact that
Yeah, well, I know that Trump's
FBI knew that?
I know that Trump's Republican like enemies, or his Republican the people he was running against in the Republican primary in 2016, they were the ones that started
Incorrect.
the Oppo
That's
research
not true. That's not
for
true.
Russia.
That's not true. That's not true. No, that's not true at all. Nope.
Hey,
there was one donor.
So hold on real quick. It was cooked up, paid for by the Hillary campaign. The FBI knew this. The FBI knew that they were planning to drop this after Trump won, and the FBI went along with it knowing it was bullshit. And you think that's cool?
Yeah, Hillary Clinton's campaign picked it up after the Republicans dropped it because they all bowed down at Trump's feet. But yeah, it was started off by Republican Oppo research. Yeah,
it's not. Prove it. Show me.
Oh, Dronetek, real quick. Do you keep your VODs on your YouTube?
My videos? What?
Yeah, do you keep the long form, the non-edited, the VODs? Do you keep those on your YouTube, or do you delete them?
You're saying like just my raw footage? Or are you talking about this stuff?
Yeah, what you're doing right now. Is there a way I can get access to everything that happened in this conversation? Because I really, really want to break down y'all's
sure.
statement.
It'll be
bit by bit.
It'll just be posted.
It'll just be posted on your YouTube or Kick?
YouTube.
Okay, cool.
I'm not even on Kick.
Because I just got home and shower and ate and everything, and I was listening to the first part of this while I was in the shower, and holy crap, some of the things that was said, I really want to debate any of you guys on.
Let's do it.
So yeah, I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna go through
about
the
J6 being a setup.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
are you going to
Achilles has
address
just
any of the
come back
points
in?
made? Can you address any of the points that have been made about
Yes,
why we
of
think it's a
course I
setup?
can.
Okay,
Like
good.
when you
'Cause
played that
Dave
video.
does it.
Wait.
He's just like
I'm
Donald
not him.
Trump's a Russian oligarch.
When you played that video of that guy, that Capitol Police talking about how when they hit 1, 10 more get angry, and try to make it out like that was them like admitting their plan. That was
No. I didn't say that. I didn't say it was
Somebody
admitting
did.
a plan.
I don't remember. I don't know who, but somebody.
No.
said that they knew
You
what they were
misunderstood.
doing.
You misunderstood.
Tyler
All I
actually said
said
the
was that the officer acknowledged that they were pissing people off by firing those, and there was there was no reason to.
But hold on. He didn't say there was no reason to.
Yeah, he
said
did.
that when they fired. No,
He said that there was because the wind was blowing towards them. 1, and 2 that they were pissing people off with it. So there was no point.
Yeah,
it wasn't driving the crowd back.
Okay. So, like, the effect of them firing is different than there's no reason to fire into the crowd.
Well,
like the crowd was giving them a reason.
The crowd by being there, by just being there.
Completely.
So these
They weren't
videos-
fighting yet. They weren't rioting.
These videos that you are posting of them shooting into the crowd,
Ran
this was
themselves
after the
over
break-in.
1,000
This was, at least from what I've seen, from what it
They're
looks like,
all
this was
behind
after
the
break-in,
fence.
when they were
Situation
actually finally trying to disperse the crowd.
Where
No,
our government
those
has
people-
completely thrown the people.
Like we were in the middle of talking. Why did you just start talking?
We'll give you a chance in a second, Achilles. 1 second. dude.
If you see in that video, that one particular video, they're all behind. They could easily go through those barricades if they wanted. They didn't, and they were still getting fired on.
Yeah, this was after the break-in, though. This was after, like, chaos broke it loose.
It's just weird to me because
Wait, hold on. So if I could find a video of BLM
you have to prove
getting
that. I don't
fired-
know that's true.
Wait,
you have to prove
wait,
that. And it still doesn't make sense to me why they would fire on these peaceful people.
Because they were trying to disperse the crowds altogether. It became a thing where you just can't be there because of all the shit that went down. It's kind of like when there's plenty of videos of BLM protesters where there was riots in other parts of the
Right,
city
and it was always a
getting
big
fired on.
controversy that they had this stuff fired at them. Remember in June of 2020 that it was a big deal the National Guard used tear gas
But
against
to
them?
you, it was never a big deal, right?
No, I'm saying that it.
Wait,
no,
no,
I didn't
for
think it was.
BLM,
You're right.
to
I
you, it
didn't.
was never a big deal,
I didn't.
right?
But guess what? Everyone else did. The media did. Democrats said they made a big deal about it.
So are you going to stay consistent, or are you going to be as bad as the media that you always are railing against?
I'm trying to stay consistent with the standards that are enforced.
So it's not a big
if
deal.
I'm consistent, what does that matter? If I'm consistent, it means
because
nothing.
I'm debating you. I'm not debating MSNBC or CNN.
Okay, well, I'm debating that. No, look, you're trying to hold me to the standards they enforce, and I'm not going to do that. Sorry.
I'm trying to hold you to a higher standard than the media that you hate.
I don't give a shit. Like I'm not.
Cool.
I don't care about. I do have high standards, but in this case, I'm going to. No, in this case, I'm going to say they set the standard. That's the standard we should abide by, but we never do. And I'm so sick of that shit.
All right. Well, if you want to be as bad as the people you hate, then go ahead. That's fine. I'm actually going to go to bed now, but yeah, I do look forward to this the actual debate.
You're going to go to bed?
Yes, I was up all night last night debating with Fork, and I had to get up early for work, and I haven't been able to sleep.
All right, man.
Damn it, Fork.
He makes a good point, though. If that first video that I sided with did come after the crowd dispersion order was given and people still weren't leaving,
well, we'd have to see that.
Justify them doing
I've
that.
not seen that. I guess it would change it a little bit, but I'm still a little iffy about that.
Have fun.
All right, Cluck. Let's give Achilles his chance to have his window. I'm going to pull his mic back on and then give him his bit.
Here to listen to you guys, man. I just kind of joined to watch you guys on Discord.
You can go now.
Yeah, man. Just go ahead and say your bit or your
Hey,
thoughts.
how's it going, guys?
Good.
Man, this stuff with the government is really crazy. I'm just lost for words on everything that's going on. It's just crazy. I'm handicapped, so, and me looking at this stuff is just like, oh, wow. And there's really nothing I can do about it, Sucks.
Do you feel like you have less rights as a handicapped person, or you feel like you can't get out and protest? Like, what does that mean?
Just the fact that it's, there's so much going on right now, and trying to be at one place or another is just so hard for me anyways. So it feels like I can't do nothing,
Do you feel like you have a voice, like on the internet or in any other way, shape, or form? Do you feel like you have a voice?
Not really, no. No, not really. It's
I
pretty
hear you.
much null and void, which is really crazy.
Tyler's pretty much handicapped now too. So,
hey RW, I'm gonna take a quick break here. I'll be right back. If you can just kind of
I got you,
things.
bro.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just came in here to listen to you guys, man.
Right back, everybody. I just got to run to upstairs
That's cool.
real quick.
Tyler made a point earlier where we showed the video of the one police talking to the other police officer saying, "We're just pissing them off when we're doing these tactics. We're hitting innocent civilians, and then they're getting mad too." So,
oh, the cops! Oh yeah, those. You know what? I've seen those dang videos, man. Cops have really lost control and are very uneducated in the laws that are in the books as they stand. I don't think one of them has ever read the Constitution.
I mean, that's an extreme statement, but the point that I'm trying to make for what Tyler said is that by those cops saying that to each other, they're admitting that they're not trying to do it to pull the crowd into the building. The narrative or the conversation they would have had would have been very different if they were trying to get them to excite and push in.
You mean the capital? Yeah.
Yeah.
If they were really trying to incite the crowd, I mean, there's a thin line that you have to draw when you're doing that, because in order to keep the crowd under control, you can only push them so far. Otherwise, they're going to freaking explode. I mean, they're just going to go crazy and they're not going to care. And it doesn't matter how many cops you have there. It's not going to stop them. And when others hear about it, they're going to get mad and they're going to come and see what's going on and they're going to see this and they're going to get mad. And then you got a whole quagmire of, just people jumping left and right, people getting hurt, people getting shot. And then that's what almost happened. And the crazy thing about it is how they want to sit here and spin this in the way that they are. And I've sat here and watched this over and over and over again. And I can tell you stories about Biden. I can tell you stories about Pelosi. But it's not going to change the fact of any lefty or anybody like that. They're in their ways. They're not going to change. They seem to think that they know it all, but they're not really looking at the basic fact that these people are corrupt. They have been corrupt for years. They will do anything they can to push a narrative to make you think that everything is going to crap, which is really bad.
Well, let me test that theory that when you talk to someone on the left that everything's set. So Brandon and me have been friends for a while now, and we've talked for quite a while. Is all the conversations we've ever had with each other been a waste of time, or do you feel like some aspect of knowledge has been gained?
Oh, no, knowledge has been gained. Heck yeah, man, I've learned a lot. I tell you, over the past, I want to say 20 years of just listening and then coming on here and listening over the past, I don't know, 5, 7, maybe 8 years. I've learned a heck of a lot more because I've started to notice a lot more things happening, a lot more corruption unfolding in front of my eyes that I really didn't notice in the beginning because the wool was pulled over my eyes. Watching MSNBC, watching CNN, thinking that all this crap is going wrong, when in the back door somebody else is coming in, and it's not cool. It's really not cool. I have watched our government do this for years and years and years and years. And you try to tell people about this, and they look at you like you're crazy. They look at you like you're completely nuts. But then when it happens, they're so brainwashed that they don't want to realize what's really happening in front of their face.
Okay,
they don't want to realize it because they don't want to be wrong. They just don't want to be wrong.
What do you think is going to come and happen next that they're going to ignore? Do you feel like something's coming and it's going to happen and it's just going to be?
Oh, I want to say it, but then I don't want to get people banned on here. I really don't, because
race war.
No, I don't think it's going to be a race war. I think we're going to see some assassinations. And that's really nothing to smile about, I don't think, because at the simple fact that there's going to be people that are going to be dying.
Don't you think that would have already been happening in the United States of America?
No, because people haven't been pushed far enough yet. I don't think people have been pushed far enough yet.
Going back to the
all right, guys. Hey guys, I'm gonna have to go ahead and roll out. This is gonna be like my last Thursday I'll be able to attend. I'm gonna try and set something up on Sundays eventually, but I'll like let you guys know whenever I'm able to like get that like in the works.
Do you want to have space here for that event, or do you want to create it in your own space?
I don't know. I'll talk to you like over text and whatnot in chat to figure all that out.
Yeah, I look forward to it, man.
I'm not quite sure what my Sundays are going to look like yet. So
yeah, dude, I'm cool for that. Sounds good. More the merrier.
Alrighty, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Hey man, take care.
Later, Brandon.
Yep.
I think that the next event that's going to push society is the next election. I don't know which direction it will go in, but I do believe that no matter which direction it goes in, there's going to be much more unrest than we've experienced so far.
Oh yeah.
I don't. I think we've seen the end.
I think.
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen the end of it, because if you see what's going on in New York and Chicago and some of these other places, do you see what these people are taking?
No,
Jewish owned.
These people are taking, getting kicked out of their houses. These people are taking, getting kicked out of other places for illegal immigrants to come in and take it over.
That was
what happened to Dank? Is he coming back?
He had to go for the night.
Oh damn.
He's going to work on some Sunday activities because he's got a new job, and so he can't be with the crew for Thursdays now. But we'll get a workaround and we'll get some time with him in a different day.
Before we get off stream, I still want to argue the Ashley Babbitt shoot was a good shoot.
All right, that's cool.
But not yet. I don't want to interrupt this.
Well, just real quick, Teresa Be Kind in chat said, now they are threatening sending our kids to Ukraine to fight if we don't send another $60 million. I have not seen that. I'm not sure where the source for that is, but
yeah, Kirby.
I would be surprised if that happened.
I've actually seen something on that Biden wants to commit some more troops. Don't quote me, because I mean it's
what it is
definitely
Kirby.
Do not quote me on it, but I think I saw something that he wants to commit more troops, and that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why you saw what's his name come out and say, we will give immunity to those who want to join the military and go fight for the government. And I think that's one of the reasons he came out and said that, because Biden wants to send more troops over to Ukraine, and he wants to send more troops into Israel.
Is that immunity from January 6th or what?
No, that's just immunity. That's immunity from being deported.
Right now, the legislation that they're working on right now, the House Speaker is kind of going back and forth with Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden. Mostly Joe Biden, because Chuck Schumer is just kind of a stand-in. But what they're arguing about right now is Biden wants to give $61 billion to Ukraine, and he wants to give about $20 billion to Israel. I don't see anywhere mentioning boots on the ground at all.
Okay.
We do commit sometimes, but it wouldn't be in a military role. We often train.
That's why I said don't quote me, man.
Yeah.
Can't we just tag them? All of our warships are right there next to Israel. Can't we tag them from there and just save time and money?
They're being used right now. I was actually just going to bring that up. Right now, our warships got moved into a certain bay in, it's near, they're fighting Hezbollah. Where right now, the U.S. is in direct conflict with Hezbollah and Hamas, or not Hamas, Hezbollah and the Houthis in Yemen. So all that talk about the genocide in Yemen and the Houthis were innocent, blah, 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 all bullshit. They're an Iranian proxy. They're launching attacks at Israel. The United States is directly blowing up their facilities in Yemen, Syria. We're also in, what is the country? Oh, fuck. I can't remember right now. The Hezbollah is in.
Are these Iranian-backed terrorists?
Yes. Hezbollah is right to the north of Israel. I can't
You want to know the messed up part about that is?
I think it's Africa. It's north of there, right?
No,
We paid for every one of
No,
those.
South Africa.
Lebanon.
it's Lebanon. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's close.
Hey, you know what? We paid good money for them terrorists. We might as well take them out.
Well, like that's the thing with Hamas. Like Bibi Netanyahu, when he wasn't before he was prime minister, actually funded Hamas, but it was before they were an anti-Israel group. A lot of people tell us.
Well, the thing is if you don't, if anybody has actually looked at the history books about 1948, that when the Jewish people went in, they actually started slaughtering all the people that were there and told them if they don't leave, you are going to be killed.
I'm pretty sure the Jews shared the Temple Mount. That was a big talk.
Oh no, they actually you can actually watch. There's actually a video that Jimmy Dore showed where there was a guy, 2 soldiers actually, who were sitting there laughing and joking about going in and actually R-ing women and killing men just for the heck of it, and actually not even letting them run away. They'd let them run away and then they'd shoot them in the back.
Well, see, the Jews didn't actually have control of the Holy Land, Jerusalem, until the 60s after a war. There was a certain point, the pre-1967 borders, which is what currently Gaza and the West Bank are arguing for in the two-state solution. Before that, the Jerusalem was split between 2 nations. And I know for a fact, I've heard a lot of Jewish people talk about it. When Muslims had control of Jerusalem, Jews were not allowed to pray there. Now, I watched Jimmy Dore's show. It's funny.
Yeah, I'm not advocating for either of them. You know, I pretty much come to a conclusion they both done some pretty crappy things to each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, what's fair game is fair game. But the simple fact of it is that you've got innocent bystanders that are actually taking the brunt of what's going on. And when you have that going on, that's not good.
Jimmy Dore
that's not going to look good for your human resources worker, you know.
Jimmy Dore is not somebody you want to get information from. He doesn't even know what Medicare for All is. When he's anti-government, he's a big libertarian lefty. But when you ask him about Medicare for All, he talks about it being like a direct link between people and their doctors, and we're going to get government out of the way.
Yeah, I know that it's not a big link between your doctor and you.
He's an advocate for government-controlled healthcare while simultaneously being anti-government. He doesn't even know what his own stances are. He's just not a great source for information.
Well, I only watch him every once in a while, so.
Ron Paclone, the guy that does the voice impersonation, hysterical. He's really funny. So like, it is a good show.
The guy that does the voices. Oh yeah, I like him.
Yeah, I just wouldn't trust anything he says. So, but yeah, no. In 1967, Israel took control of the Temple Mount, and now Israel is 1/4 Arabs that are not Jewish live inside the walls of Israel, and they have access to the Temple Mount every single day. So,
I mean, I really don't care what goes on over there. I really wish we would just pull our freaking forces out of there and just stop messing around over there. Stop doing our thing over there. There's nothing for us over there.
Oh, they're absolutely.
Besides trouble and more trouble.
The United States is significantly stronger because not only do we have an advantageous ally in a very oil-rich and very resource-rich area, but that is a connection for the United States to deter its enemies, which are Iran, Russia, and China.
No. That's no. I understand for us to have allies over there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we don't need to be over there causing issues and getting in the middle of everything when it's not our fight. It's really not our fight if you think about it. It's been going on for thousands of years, so I don't know why we're still trying to sit here and settle something that they need to settle themselves.
Right now, the Biden administration's pussyfooting, and Kamala Harris came out with a list of demands for the IDF that she doesn't have for Hamas, where they have to she made up a word in it. I want to say it was I don't remember. But yeah, there's a list of demands from Kamala Harris that Israel needs to step down and stop killing civilians and this and that. They're being held to a completely different set of standards than any other nation at war. And we're not really giving them much aid besides exchanging fire with the Houthis and Hezbollah. We're not. There's no boots on the ground.
Are they actually listening to her words, though?
No.
Are they actually giving her any respect whatsoever?
Nope. What I think happened is Biden probably called up Bibi and said, look, half of my party disagrees with this war, so I'm going to say some shit on TV, just ignore it and accept all the money we're sending.
Shit.
That's probably what's happening.
So you think the it was okay to shoot Ashley Babbitt?
I think it was a justified shoot. Thinking of how the police would justify this and how the gentleman actually did that shot her, when a violent crowd is coming at you, it is the equivalent of somebody holding a deadly weapon. That crowd itself, that entity, is a violent and deadly weapon, especially with crowd psychology. If somebody would have attacked that cop, a bunch of law-abiding citizens might have joined in because they're part of the crowd. So I could see why that cop felt like his life was at threat and that he was justified to shoot. Absolutely.
So you don't.
Well, who here is actually saying that it's an unjustified shooting?
I am.
I kind of think both, but
yeah, it's definitely unjustified.
He does have a point, but the other point is did he really have to shoot?
Well, no, there's a better point I could make.
That was the final line. If he was told this is the line, if they cross this line, use lethal force. That's like the standard that was set for that door. And as soon as she pushed through,
well, I understand that. But did he have to shoot an unarmed person now? That's the thing.
Probably not. Like, there probably are other ways to solve it, but you could say that for most police shoots. Like, there's probably another way to solve it, but the guy was charging at the cop with a knife, so he was justified. That's all, is he was justified.
Well, there's a difference between somebody charging at you with a knife and somebody just coming through some plastic glass that's...
Yeah,
it's one person coming through a window. It's one person coming through a window. How hard could it have been for him to just go and kind of, please go back? I'm sure she would have been like, okay, no problem.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear Dronetek's argument.
Yeah, so look, there's a couple things, but one, and I think this is the most persuasive, is so we had 5 years of riots, and pretty intense ones, especially in Portland. I don't think anybody's ever shot, even though I can think of a few instances where police were actually being beat. In one case with a hammer, nobody was shot. And in this case, even on January the 6th, during all of that was going on, nobody else was shot. There was much more violent things going on. And lastly, as I pointed out before, Ashley was surrounded by both not geared cops that were right behind her and a whole squad of like fully geared cops that were on the stairs just behind her as she was doing that. So like literally they could have like tackled her. They could have tackled that entire room of people. Like there wasn't that many people in there.
Yeah, but still, if the cop feels his life
and the guy himself, just watching the interview, I could just see in his eyes he knows he was wrong. I can see it, and I know it 100%.
Can we all agree? So I don't know if it's Ashley Havoc in this group or not, but someone was saying that there was no window, or there was no window on the door, and there's an argument that she wasn't pushing through the window, she was like shot through the window. But I remember the video clearly being that she's breaching a door through the window of the door.
Yeah,
she's crawling through it.
Fine, but here's my thing: is one, people have said he was telling her, according to him, that don't come or I'll shoot, blah blah blah. Who knows if she heard that? One, who knows if he actually did that? I don't know if there's any proof of that. Especially all this stuff I've seen about police, how they protect each other, and especially in this case, we had people rioting and destroying cities, killing people over shootings that were literally justified, actually justified. Okay, people with deadly weapons doing deadly things. And in this case, she was 98 pounds. She was surrounded by police. There was no reason to suspect she was armed. And as soon as she came through that window, that officer could have easily tackled her and arrested her. So no, I'm sorry. Like, nobody else was shot that day, which is, if we're going by what you're saying, I would think other people would have been shot.
But let's say she jumps through the window, he tackles her. Another person reaches through that window, unlocks the door, and the whole crowd comes through. He then loses control of the situation.
Well, that's why I say, if you look at the video, it's like maybe 30 people, it looks like, right there, and most of them aren't really doing much. They're just standing there. She's like trying, and literally there's like fully geared, this whole squad, they're just standing there, like they're not even doing anything. And like they could easily like do something and pull all these people. I don't know why they didn't. I'm not saying that's part of like a conspiracy. I'm not saying that, just so we're clear. I'm just saying that like other things could have easily happened, and I think he was just negligent. I think he just shot her.
That was Secret Service, wasn't it? That was Secret Service.
He was Capitol officer, I believe.
He was Capitol Police.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what their roles are as a police department. I do think they put on some kid gloves when they dealt with a lot of the Black Lives Matter rioters around the country. Kamala Harris bailing out rioters to find out one of them was a murderer on parole, things like that.
Down the memory hole.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that, but I just don't think that kind of deserves discussion here just because this is a different police force with different responsibilities. It has RW said they could have drawn that line there. Once they get past this point, it's the point of no return. We have to hold the line here. Please stop breaking through that window. Don't jump. And in his mind, he probably needed to shoot. But I agree. If you look at it from 2020 hindsight, slowed down, he probably had other alternatives he could have taken. I just think he was justified in the shoot, is what I'm saying. He felt fear for his life because a crowd of people chanting for the death of the vice president were storming at him and breaking everything in their way to get to him.
Or for maybe not his life, but his responsibilities.
Yeah. His responsibilities, to protect the government or whatnot.
I'm trying to find that raw footage so I can show you, but I mean, I don't know.
But it is worth, I think that is worth showing. I really do, because
I'm trying to find the actual Jaden X footage, raw footage. Wasn't his name Jaden X? Wasn't that what it was?
I don't remember the name.
There's some new footage that got released. It was pretty interesting. It was the people were leaving, and there was police like just randomly punching people in the back of the head and stuff, and trying to start fights. And that guy is among them.
Teresa, be kind. I know you're in the server. You might as well join the crew here.
Here we go. I think I found it. Hold on. John Sullivan. It's John Sullivan, by the way. That's his real name.
Drone, it looks like there's a version on Austin Ketterman's YouTube channel. Austin Kellerman. That's heavily graphic. You have to refresh and then click through the contains graphic or violent imagery.
Yeah.
So it's a double wall. Although I don't know if they're going to show it. Oh yeah, they are.
Hold on.
Can always count on Steve finding those videos on the dark web.
Right.
So what I'm seeing from the Gateway Pundit is there was somebody else shattering the glass, and she punches him in the face.
Really?
Yeah, his name's Elim.
She punched someone in the face for breaking the glass that she then crawled through.
Yeah, then she turned around and crawled through it, apparently.
She's like, that was mine, bitch.
Right there.
Her husband was saying that she was trying to escape the mayhem, and that broken window was her way out.
Can you guys see that full screen?
Yeah, I am. If you break it, if you kick it back, I don't necessarily want to show her being shot.
All right, we can start back here at the beginning.
I want to go. There's a point where you can see kind of everybody. I think it's this video, and you can see how many police are in there.
Yeah, the other angle.
Oh, look at that guy, man! What the heck? Why didn't he get shot?
They legit had multiple police behind them too. Yeah, there was only like 10 people at the door as well.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is like, I don't understand why they didn't do more to stop them.
The cops moved.
Right. And when you see like you said, there's not that many people there. These people are dumb though. Like, why? I definitely think like these people should be charged 100%. This kind of shit, I'm just like, yeah, that was,
All right, kill it. You got to see there. She went and
that's not the video
window,
either.
That was my point.
All right, hold on. That's not the video I'm talking about. I'll just get my own stream because I have a stream of it, and I'll just use that. 1 second.
But that did show more than enough. And her husband again is saying
you couldn't see. You couldn't see though. I mean, you could see that part, but I think pulling back a little bit, which this video does, you see a little different perspective. Let me find it here real quick.
Yeah, I didn't see her in the video I just had, but
yeah, I didn't.
In the very end, you see her jump through the window.
Yeah, I saw that. Huh. Well, while you're
I said to kill it because I didn't know if that was going to show anything that would get YouTube flagged.
I just want to point out the rest of that bill I was talking about earlier. So it's Ukraine funding, funding for Israel, and funding for the border. So Mike Johnson tied in Ukraine funding with Israel funding and border funding. So they're going to have a bunch of new troops on the border, apparently, to help with illegal immigration as a result of funding Ukraine here.
Did you say Mike Tyson?
Mike Johnson.
Okay,
he's
just making sure. Like, wait, what?
All right, I got it. I was seeing if I put a link in here. I didn't. So sorry for the double thing here, but you can at least see. So this is behind her on the stairs. I don't know if you can see it. And I'll click through it here. You can see there, those, when I click off, I don't think people on my end can see it. Here, let me do this. All right, oh, there's, you can see right there, that's some of the fully geared guys coming up. Oh, damn it, that footage cuts too. There's a longer footage, national file on YouTube. I'll see if I can find that. That national file video, I think, has more. But you can see there, like, in there, you can see more at another point.
There is video from the other side of that door. I know that.
Ah, damn. Well, I'll see if I can find that raw video. But yeah, the point is, I mean, we're really like, I don't know. I don't think I could agree that it was a justified shooting at all. Especially like after I witnessed riots over like scumbags getting shot by police who deserved it.
I just can't. I don't think you can judge every police department one-to-one, especially those cops on the street. They have different training to deal with different groups of people and whatnot. Yeah. Sensitivity training in particular.
Lack of training. Really.
Most of those riots went on in blue cities where they're really big on police sensitivity training, and this DC cops probably don't have that. So they're probably more like old school cops. You cross this line, I'm shooting because I feel threatened. I get she probably wasn't the bad person she's made out to be. You know, it looks like, again, her husband is saying, I saw her throw a punch at one of the riots. But she hopped through that window when that guy was telling people not to go through it, and that's kind of probably why she got shot.
Yeah, I can't get down with her husband being like, yeah, she was trying to escape the chaos. Turn around and go the other direction.
Yeah.
Right. At what point in time are you forced to be where you're standing?
More like she was caught up in it. Yeah. Well, I think I am going to wrap this up, guys. I'm pretty beat from the day. So do you guys have anything else you want to talk about here? Or?
That's all of Vivek's comments that I wanted to comment on. The other ones I agree with.
Yeah, I wanted to get into the replacement theory thing, but we don't really. Do we have any like opposition to that or anything? Or
I honestly don't even know what that is enough. So if you want to just explain it in concept.
Well, I'll just quickly say. I mean, there's not a ton to say, but like he said that it's real, which and I think he's right. I mean, at least since 2004, Democrats have been openly promoting their plan to basically flood the country with people from South America who they think will vote for them. Maybe, you know, I always hear these people are conservative, and I think largely it hasn't worked out for the Democrats yet. But I think, you know, you flood the country. I think there's been 8 million, over 8 million in the country since Biden's been president. Like, you keep up those kind of numbers and you get these people dependent. I hear they're getting $5,000 cars when they come in. I don't know if that's true. I've been seeing it reported. As well as some other things. You know, they're going to feel obligated. I see these people getting swept up into stuff and voting a certain way. Anyway, that is basically what replacement theory is, except for the white supremacist stuff. They have a version of it where it's like, you know, the Jews and they're replacing the white man. And I think that is I don't think it's the Jew. I don't think it's a Jewish conspiracy. But the white the white voter is going to be, replaced in a way, or at least those of us standing against the left will be replaced, and our votes won't really matter anymore.
Where is this being shown as openly Democratic agenda? Like, where are they saying, yeah, this is totally your idea and this is where it shows it?
Look up the Browning of America. That was the phrase they used a lot about 10 years ago.
Well, there's the Emerging Democratic Majority, which was a big book when it came out in the early 2000s. And then on top of that, you have Democrats, and I can post some or I can play some video montages where they're talking about, demographics are destiny, and the white majority is going to be the minority, and that's a good thing, and that's going to be great for the Democrat Party, and we'll have we're turning these red states purple and then blue, and that's their plan.
Yeah, it comes from the first Obama coalition, the Rainbow Coalition they called it, where they took all these minority groups and banded them together to vote for Obama against white people. The idea is if you bring in more of those groups, then you're just going to have more Democrat votes. It has not been working out that way. The Hispanic vote has been not only saving the Republicans, but also saving white people, because Hispanics tend to identify white within 4 generations that come in the United States, about 60% of the time. So it really hasn't
crazy. I didn't know that.
4 generations is a long time.
It is.
So here, I can show a video real quick if you want of an example of kind of Democrats on the media doing this.
Yeah, sure. I guess I was asking if there's like some document somewhere, website standard, where it's a bullet point for their doctrine or belief system.
Well, yeah, I think so. I think I can find that for you. But here, let me play this and see what you think.
To the entire immigration debate, demographic change is the key to the Democratic Party's political ambitions.
This conspiracy theory has been increasingly echoed by many who are on the right.
Those like Fox's Tucker Carlson, who continue to push dangerous and baseless conspiracies.
I really think because of demographic changes in this country, I think that the Democratic Party is going to win Texas moving forward, and the Democratic Party is going to be in power for the next 30, 40 years.
The demographic change that's happening in America right now gives the upper hand to Democrats.
This census that just came out especially drives home the point that Texas is next.
It's a state where the demographics are changing in ways that are favorable to the Democratic Party.
Demographic changes that help the Democrats.
Democrats for a decade now, along with Arizona and Texas, have had on this sort of long-term project of trying to take some red states across the Sun Belt and flip them blue as demographic changes are taking place there.
Democrats should be asking themselves, as a matter of fact, why aren't they dominating the political landscape? 2 decades ago, the influential book, The Emerging Democratic Majority, predicted they would due to demographic changes in the country.
We've been predicting for some time that demographic changes were going to eventually move North Carolina, Georgia, Texas.
Stacey Abrams and her former campaign manager, Lauren Groh-Wargo, argued in a recent New York Times op-ed that any state can turn blue. Demographic change will precede electoral opportunity.
If you look at what's happening in Georgia,
they want
and in
one-party
Texas,
rule. It's so
just
obvious.
the demographic changes
in
alone over the last 10 years gives us some measure of hope.
Yeah, and I do want to play that. Let me play one more clip real quick here. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Democratic candidate Tim Ryan calling out his opponent J.D. Vance's previous comments supporting and amplifying the conspiracy theory that Democrats seek to replace white voters through their immigration policies.
White people will be replaced as the majority of the people in the country. That's not racist to say that, it's just a fact. The question becomes, why are you so upset about that? And why are you blaming that on elites or on Jewish people and on a conspiracy theory? Because in fact, it is just about birth rates and death rates. And yes, immigration does play a role in that.
Okay. All right, so if immigration plays a role in that, and Democrats are driving the immigration policy that's replacing whites, as he just said, then is it not like a conspiracy? Like, it's so funny to me that in one breath, literally, she says the whole thing's a conspiracy theory, and then Charles Blow gets on there. It's like, yes, white people are going to be replaced. Like, why are they upset about that? Like, to me, that's insane. Like, what?
I mean, they're basically saying that people are just scared of change, or what is there to worry about the fact that your nation's about to change drastically, or not drastically, but you're going to have change coming from outside of your border and outside of your culture. What's the big deal with that? And the answer is, how much is it going to change our country? Because I like America.
Right. Like, you don't hear, like, we talked about this in a past stream, but like, you only hear about this happening and being like a good thing, which is unquestionably a good thing. You hear it repeated endlessly by these people, how great it is, especially Joe Scarborough and all these types. But like, I asked the question, what's so great about it? What's so great about it for us? What's so great about it for the world if like white majority countries become white minority countries? Like, should white people be a majority in any country? Apparently not. Like, I find that some kind of nefarious.
To do that in Iceland.
And then in movies and TV, which is a major cultural mover, like, it's a powerful propaganda tool. And like, what are we seeing? We're seeing it started with like replacing, fictional white characters in movies with black people or whatever, and it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But now they're literally replacing like white historical figures with like black people, and literally erasing white people from history. Like, why are they doing that? That seems, again, pretty nefarious to me, but I guess it's racist to think that.
On the main note of tonight's debate, talking about like Vivek and the GOP debate that just happened, I'm just curious if you have any comments on it, Steve, because we haven't had a chance to hear much from you tonight. You've been chilling.
Yeah, I do have maybe a few comments. I thought Vivek didn't sound very good. I thought, frankly, they all sounded kind of off. I thought it was an off night for everybody. I was interested to hear Chris Christie basically backing up parents' rights to choose gender-affirming surgeries for their children. And his argument on that was solid, but it wasn't very Republican in my mind. Vivek attacking Nikki was interesting because she did have did space out when she was trying to name the provinces in the Ukraine that she couldn't come up with at the moment. And then Chris Christie jumped to her defense, which was interesting. Yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a shit show. If I was to say anybody came out ahead in that, I'd say nobody. I think they all were par or slightly subpar, That was my thoughts on it.
At least it doesn't matter because none of them are getting in, right?
Seemingly.
I think the moderators did good.
Yeah, I agree.
Good questions were asked. Megyn Kelly proved like why she's a great news person with some of her questions. But yeah, if you watch Chris Christie in the first debate, he advocates for using the government to steamroll voting when it comes to the DAs and whatnot that they vote for in their local district. The second debate, he advocates for using the government to steamroll teachers. The third debate, he advocates for using the government to steamroll other people. And then the fourth debate, he goes full Doug Burgum and he's all about states' rights finally. It just seemed really inconsistent. He really seemed like the guy that would shut down a bridge on you until this debate.
Right. Yeah, and that was one of the original reasons I'd never be able to vote for him because of that fiasco in New Jersey.
Yeah, where he weaponized government in the same way he's bitching about Trump doing.
Uh-huh. I mean,
yeah. All right, I got to go get something to eat. I'm starving, and it's about to be too late for me to go.
Hey, thanks a lot for everybody for hanging out. And hey, before you go, Steve, your stream Saturday nights?
Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Smoke Steve's International Pub on my channel on YouTube. The channel is called Smoke Steve.
Yeah, you should check it out. Yeah, it's fun.
Tyler, you've never been by. If you have a minute, you want to have a drink, swing, or you don't drink, I don't give a shit. Swing through, man. But whatever.
Don't worry, the other guys will drink for you.
Yeah, Steve gets a lot of guys on there, and they go pretty late, so it's fun. Just check it out.
Should be an invite, absolutely.
Here you go. It's
I have it set up on the event for the server, so through there you'll grab them.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and end it for the night. Thanks everybody for watching, as always, and we'll do this again next Thursday.
Good night, all.
Thanks for coming, guys.